Hello, Nari McDiarmid for miningnews.net, and I'd like to welcome Justin Virgin, Executive Director at Western Australia-based explorer Terrain Minerals. And Justin, Terrain has a suite of assets. What's the current focus?
Yeah, thanks, Nari. Terrain's currently working on two assets, and obviously, you said we've got a suite. There's a pipeline coming up. Our main focus recently has been our Smokebush project at Laurens Lane, where we've recently released a lot of results for gallium and rare earths. I think rare earths is probably a bit of a hard place in WA with processing at the moment, but our gallium is very exciting. Gallium, I don't think the market quite understands how important it is. But it is definitely a metal we're going to be hearing a lot more of going forward. Our other project that we're working up is our Lort River project down in Esperance, which, funny enough, we're down there for rare earths, found some gallium, and that's how we got on the gallium bandwagon. The grades that we're seeing up at Laurens Lane are a lot higher and a lot bigger and wider, so that's obviously where we're focusing, and it's not on farmland. But our Lort River project, surprisingly enough, we pegged some ground in between to join up with tenements. We found a Sirius Nova eye lookalike, and on a little bit more study, we then found a conductor, which is sulfides of some type, which is very exciting. Roughly where it's sitting on the Nova structure, which is 300 k's to the north, and we've just flown V10, so we're waiting for those results to come out. So we're pretty excited about it. I suspect there's a lot more news to happen there, and that's sort of a potential copper nickel project, and we are talking to drillers, so a bit of a hint, but let's see what the data processing reveals. But very exciting for Terrain. The other couple of projects, we got a large lithium project up in the Pilbara, located north of Pilgangoora and Wildcat, and we had a large tenement holding we've put together 2 years ago, getting very close to grant as well, in Queensland, that has a lot of copper gold anomalism on it. That's also never been tested and has been identified by the majors. So that's sort of where the company's going after we test our two current ones.
If we could circle back to gallium for a moment, Justin, what's the allure of this particular metal?
There's a couple of things. I guess it's a new age metal. It is a metal. It's not a rare earth. It melts between 29 to 30 degrees. You put it in your hand, so it's a bit of an odd thing, but it's used in advanced electronics. There's no quantum computing, there's no AI. Basically, it's used in chips, computer chips, and it's new generation computer chips. So the old silicon chips are sort of on their way out, gallium chips way in, and also diodes and transistors for switching. So if you want, without gallium, there is no miniaturization. It also allows for less power draw, and it switches much quicker. Obviously allows for those other two things. So missiles, radars, and interestingly enough, photovoltaics, a patent dropped away about 3 years ago. So in the old photovoltaics, they have steel doped into them. Now, when steel comes in, oxygen comes, they corrode. That's why panels die after about 10 years. With gallium in the panels, in the circuitry, they are lasting a lot longer and they're producing better power. 80% of panels out of China now have gallium in them because the patent's gone, and I think 95 to 98% of all gallium comes from China. So with it being such a strategic military electronics metal, with China controlling it and scaring people, they shut the market off full supply last August, which put some alarm bells out through the market because people need supply. I guess you don't want people you're arguing with on the military side having the supply of a critical metal. We've spoken to some Japanese people. We've really advertised gallium looking for end users, not really for the market. The market's not quite there understanding it quite yet, but it is getting more coverage. We have had people come back to us, and we are in some very advanced discussions around doing something with our gallium. So we're very positive and very excited.
So interesting times ahead on the gallium space, but you've also mentioned the looming lithium and copper tenements, they're granting cropping up. What are you hoping to achieve in the rest of 2024, Justin?
Well, we're obviously trying to do something with the gallium, talking to people there. We're looking like going back down to Esperance and drilling out a couple of bullseye targets, I guess, if they come up as that, which would be nickel, copper, maybe cobalt, which would also be very exciting for the company. If you look at the Thompson Belt in Canada, similar sort of geology, they have But every 300 to 600 k's is another discovery, and we're about 300 k's from Nova. No one's found one to the north. No one's really looked properly in the south, so it's exciting. There's another one out there. Everyone agrees. It just hasn't been found yet. I guess with our Pilbara tenements, we're in the right jurisdiction. There seems to be a theory that there's sort of like three big granite systems up there, or pegmatite systems. We believe we've got one in our area from what we can sort of see. With available information, we need to do some more work, obviously. We need to go back and do some soils and then do some drilling and hopefully prove up that some of the pegmatites that we have been impregnated, the same as a wildcat and the Pilbara ones. So as they come online, we'd like to be in there and do some work straight away. Programs are designed. We're hoping to have it granted in the next 3 to 4 months. We just had 9 objections and we're down to the last one. So it's progressing quite well. So it's very exciting for the company. And we took a view 2 years ago on our Billawheeler project in Queensland, which is sort of inland from Rockhampton. There's 9 copper targets there and gold, up to 9% rock chips. There's copper hanging out of the ground, secondary copper, up 2 grams gold. And we can sort of see some very exciting targets over a large area. It's near Krakow, historic gold mine. Major companies have owned the land. They've identified targets. They just haven't done any work. So our plan is once it's granted, once again, 3 or 4 months' time, we believe, we'll be straight into there, walk those targets properly, and then probably drill test 3 of the better ones. With, copper's a great place to be, and that's where we want to position terrain to get that sort of upside.
So there's a lot on the horizon, Justin. Finally, how would you sum up to a potential investor? Why should they consider Terrain?
I think if you look at the company, we've got a track record of doing cheap exploration. We're always active. We've got a nice pipeline of quality assets, which we're working our way through. We've only currently got 2. The 2 better ones, I believe, or most exciting ones, are coming online later this year. For people like the lithium space, we're in the right jurisdiction for quality assets can survive the sort of the lower price cycles. We've got some copper, which is definitely topical at the moment, and then we've got a specialty metal and potentially a couple of good targets that be proving up, maybe more down at Lord River. So there's a lot of things happening. Trade, a lot of positive news flow coming. We haven't done a lot of promotion for the company, but we're picking that side up as well. So with a market cap of $6 million, it's definitely a cheap entry point for people. And we've got a strong register and supportive shareholders.
Oh, look forward to the news flow as it comes, Justin. Thanks for taking the time to speak today.
Great. Thank you very much for the opportunity for Terrain and for the shareholders.